Good afternoon. Today is December 7th, 2023. My name is Tom Toft. I am a qualified tax expert for the West Michigan Low Income Taxpayer Clinic, part of Legal Aid of Western Michigan. Today, I'd like to talk about the relationship requirement. The IRS says without the right relationship, you can't claim a child tax credit or an earned income credit for your partner's child. Before I get into the presentation body, I want to mention that this is not legal advice. Nothing in this presentation is a substitute for a private consultation with an attorney regarding a legal problem. The information in this presentation concerns the current state of tax law. Tax laws can change. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get to it. Every year, we talk to unmarried taxpayers who claim their significant other's child when they did not have the required relationship to do that. The child can be a son, daughter of a girlfriend, boyfriend, domestic partner, etc. Many of these taxpayers were audited by the IRS and end up either getting less tax refund or owing tax debt. And that's kind of the real impetus behind this presentation, because there's a number of people that come in and when we look into it, they just didn't qualify for the credits they claimed. And it's just kind of mitigating the damage at that point, getting what they can. But if you don't have the requirements, there's no way to prove to the IRS that you should get a tax credit because you just don't meet the requirements. Now, to help avoid this situation, it is important to understand what type of relationship the IRS says you need to claim your significant other's child. So what is that type of relationship? Well, there are various tax credits you can claim a child for. Two main tax credits that our clinic is often asked about claiming a child for are the child tax credit and the earned income credit. It is these two credits this presentation focuses on. Each of these two tax credits has its own involved list of several requirements that must be met for a person to claim a child. Covering all the requirements on those lists is lengthy, somewhat complicated, and outside the scope of this presentation. Excuse me. However, at the end of the slide presentation, there are some helpful links to websites and materials that discuss all the requirements. So if you do want to look into all of the other requirements, at the end of the slide deck, there are some links provided, and you can go there and it has all of that information from the IRS. One requirement that both the child tax credit and earned income credit have kind of common is that a taxpayer has the right type of relationship to the child that's being claimed on a tax return. I want to read that again. One requirement that both the child tax credit and the earned income credit have in common is that a taxpayer has the right type of relationship to the child that is being claimed on the tax return. So the focus of the relationship is between the person claiming the child and the child. So what are those relationships the IRS wants to see? To claim a child for the child tax credit or income credit, your child must be your son, daughter, stepchild, foster child, brother, sister, half brother, half sister, stepbrother, stepsister, or a descendant of any of them. And an adopted child is always treated as your own child. The term adopted child includes a child who is lawfully placed with you for legal adoption. It is your significant other's if your significant other's child is not related to you in one of the above ways, then you cannot claim the child for either of these two tax credits. So the core are these bolded relationships. This is the relationship that you must have to the child to claim that child for the federal child tax credit or the earned income credit. It is the definition of these relationships that the IRS goes by, and not how you or the child view your relationship. And this is where frequently we see people getting tripped up. So to expand a little bit on that is, you may be in a family unit. There can be kids there. You all live together. You have lived together for the whole tax year. You are having an income. You provide support for everybody, take care of them. You view the children as yours. You may refer to them as as a son, as a daughter. They could call you papa, call you mama. And for all practical purposes, you are a family unit, the way you take care of each other, love each other, and interact. However, it's the definition of the relationships that the IRS goes by. So even though for all practical purposes, you view yourselves as having this type of relationship, the IRS is going to look at the definitions. For example, here's a common mistake in claiming the child tax credit and earned income credit. An unmarried couple live together. A young child lives with the couple. One person in the couple is a parent of the child. The non-parent in the couple does not have a relationship with the child. That's one listed earlier. The non-parent in the couple earns the most money in the household. So the non-parent in the couple claims the child for the child tax credit and or the earned income credit. In this situation, the child has been improperly claimed on the tax return because the relationship requirement does not exist. And I should mention that it's not uncommon that I'll see where someone has been improperly claiming a child for a number of years. They claim a child, they file the return, there's no issues, they get a refund. And then what can happen though is that you might get an audit from the IRS. And when there's child tax credits or earned income credits on a return, that's a very often audited type of credit on a return. Those things get pulled all the time by the IRS and looked at. And so if you've been going along and claiming a child improperly and you're getting paid, it doesn't mean that you are actually allowed to do that. It's just that the IRS hasn't identified the area. And maybe your number comes up for a random audit. You get a letter from the IRS saying, hey, we see you claim these credits. Send us some proof that you can claim the child. At that point, if you come to us or someone else to be helped out and we look into it, we find that the relationship to claim the child for these credits is not there. There is nothing that can be done to change that. It means the credits were improperly claimed. There might be some other things that can be done, but we can't point to the previous years and say, hey, we've been doing this and we had no problems with IRS. So why is there a problem now? It's just the fact that it was being claimed wrong and the IRS never caught it. And one of the other dangers is if it is caught and there is an exam and there's an adjustment, say there's a big change and a lot is owed, so things can happen. You can have the IRS go back the past couple of years and look. They might look forward a little bit. They may look around the same time frame and give or take a couple of years to see if the same issue exists in other years, and they can examine those. And if they find there's something like a intentional disregard or ruckus disregard of the rules, they can bar you for a couple of years for claiming that credit in the future. If they think there's fraud, they can even go forward, much farther than 2 years. So there's a lot of problems that can be involved if you've been doing this for a while, and then you get the audit ticket, we'll call it, gets pulled up. You get the lottery comes up, you get the audit, and it finds out you were not able to properly claim the children. It's not going to be a defense to go back and say, hey, we've been doing it for a while. So I just wanted to mention that because there can be some exposure that's greater than most people realize. It's another reason I just wanted to mention this particular issue about the relationship requirement. So caution. Remember, there are other requirements than just the relationship that are needed to claim a child for the child tax credit or earned income credit. You must meet all the requirements of a tax credit before claiming it on your return. So if you do have the proper relationship, doesn't mean you can just go and claim the child for these credits. You still have to meet all the requirements. One tip is if you can't claim your significant other's child for the child tax credit, look at whether you could claim an other dependent credit. It's a different type of credit. The maximum credit amount is $500 for each dependent who meets certain conditions. And this credit can be claimed for dependents living with a taxpayer who aren't related to the taxpayer. Another tip is to consider if you qualify for free professional tax preparation. A tax preparer will help you determine which credits you qualify for. Some people qualify for free tax preparation help, especially those with low or moderate income, disabilities, limited English proficiency, or they're age 60 plus. You can look into the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, commonly called VITA, and the Tax Counseling for the Elderly, the TCE, programs that the IRS has. Here's a web link to an IRS site that has more information about there and how to get in contact with them. You can check out United Way's My Free Taxes at www.myfreetaxes.com. You can also call 211 during the filing season, which is coming pretty quick. We're here in early December, mid-January about it starts. You can call 211 during the filing season and ask for free tax preparation. Most of the free tax services are only open during the tax filing season, but some are open year-round. I cannot stress enough how if you can get a professional to help you with your tax preparation, that will avoid a lot of the problems that we commonly help people out with, especially this issue of can I claim these credits. Tax professionals are trained. They see these issues all the time. They have software that they can ask questions and kind of go through all the different requirements. And that expertise can help you avoid claiming something that you shouldn't, and then potentially running into a problem in the IRS later on. So I can't stress enough that this is a very useful benefit that is offered to the public. It's free. If you think you might qualify, check. It's always best to avoid problems if you can get everything done right on the return. And then, if there is an audit or a question does come up, you can have the confidence of knowing that your return was prepared properly, and then you can engage with the audit and provide whatever is needed for that. Here's a list of reference material. The top two are IRS sites where you can go click on the link or type this into your web browser, and there's actually an interactive system the IRS has where it'll tell you if you qualified for the child tax credit dependents. There's also the second link is for whether you qualify for their earned income credit. The last four sites here, these are IRS websites, IRS materials that give all the requirements for the credits that we're talking about. Okay, great. Are there any questions? Okay, great. Well, I appreciate your time. I thank you for the listening to this. Just remember, tax season's coming up. If you have these credits, be very conscious of the requirements, particularly this relationship requirement. If you have questions, please feel free to contact us. We have our phone number here at this last slide. Have a good day and take care.